All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Lots to talk about as usual today, starting off with the latest launch of the Xbox Game Pass games, some sales numbers, how some games are doing. Shattered Space just released, all of that stuff. We will go over it. But before we do continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, share the video, like the video, and also check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So we got the most recent announcement here, the first announcement here in October for Xbox Game Pass. Now there's 5 games coming over here, and it is, I would say, a pretty lackluster list overall if you're just taking a look at it. And they're doing something here which now with the new Xbox Game Pass standard, it will allow Xbox to continuously reuse games and get people excited who have the Xbox Game Pass standard to be able to play games that were previously only in Ultimate. So we have MLB The Show coming to console on October 2nd, which was already on Xbox Game Pass. So if you're a new subscriber and you've subscribed to Xbox Game Pass standards, you're now playing this on October 2nd. You have Open Roads coming October 2nd. I believe this is just kind of a narrative driven style of game. I don't know too much about that one. That is also coming to console. So those are the two Xbox Game Pass standard announcements, and obviously as well are in Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Then you have this one here, which is a cool announcement. This is a great game, and this is Sifu coming to Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard. So all of the tiers are getting this: cloud, console, and PC. October 2nd, third-person Kung Fu brawler. Really fun game. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend going to check out Sifu. Then we have Mad Streets coming on October 7th. Again, this is for all of the Game Pass memberships, Ultimate, PC, and Standard, so cloud, console, and PC. And I was watching some videos of this game. It is just a very wacky fighting game with really funny physics, that things that randomly happen when you're hitting guys. It is a party game. I definitely would recommend just go and check a video out. I'm going to try Masteries. It looks pretty funny to play. We have Inscription here. Again, this is coming to Ultimate, PC, and Standard October 10th on Cloud, Console, and PC. And they say here that Inscription is an inky black card-based odyssey that blends the deck-building roguelike, escape room, style puzzles, and psychological horror into a blood-laced smoothie. So perfect game for a Halloween. If you're into that stuff, then Inscription will be the one for you. So I would say, yeah, a pretty lackluster announcement for the first one in October. But I'm sure Xbox is sitting back and they are preparing for what is going to be a very fun fall with some big games like Indiana Jones and Flight Simulator and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 all dropping into Xbox Game Pass. The next Game Pass announcement, I believe, will have Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in there, so that will be one of the biggest Game Pass announcements of the entire year. Now, there's also perks that do come along with Game Pass. So here are October 2024 perks for EA Sports FC 25. You get an Ultimate Team welcome pack. For First Descendants, you get the Season 1 Invasion bundle. For Hawked, don't know anything really about this game, you get Plunder Pack 2. Multiverses, you get the MVP Pack 3. X Defiance, you get a Combat Pack, which a bunch of different combat skins. Discord Nitro is back there. You can claim that by January 30th, 2025. Persona 3 Reloaded, you get the Expansion Pass, which has to as well be redeemed by January 31st, 2025. And there's some other ones here that are leaving. But this is one of the nice things here about Game Pass every single month when they do give the announcements, is that you get perks for games that people are playing. Like the First Descendant has a big game, and lots of people are playing that. FC 25, of course, is always very popular, and Ultimate Team is probably the most popular game mode, even though I hate Ultimate Team in all of EA Sports games, but everyone likes to play that. You get a additional pack there to build your team. So those are the perks here for October 2024. Okay, let's talk Tango Gameworks and Krafton. As we know, Xbox sold Tango to Krafton. They're able to still go ahead and make Hi-Fi Rush 2 because they also sold the IP. And we have some more information here as to exactly what is going on here between Tango Gameworks acquisition and Krafton and everything that's gone down. So first of all, they did praise Phil Spencer here. They say that he made this whole thing very, very accommodating. And this was an interview with Maria Park, the head of corporate development, speaking about the entire move. And this is what Maria Park has to say about Tango, about Phil Spencer. Say also the opportunity to take over the IP from Microsoft. It's very unusual for them to sell the IP, even in the case of a studio shutdown. We spoke with Phil Spencer directly, and we have their direct support. He has been incredibly accommodating to the needs of the Tango team. So that's very nice to hear. And I mean, it is that goodwill, I would say. Yes, of course, they shut them down, and I would wish that they had never done that and nobody got laid off, but they were still able to go ahead and save it by selling it to Krafton and giving them the IP. They didn't have to give the IP over at all. They could have just sold Tango Gameworks and everything that went with that, with like the developers and stuff like that, but they decided to also give the rights to the IP, which is a nice thing that they were doing. And they even say that it was very unusual for them to sell the IP even with the studio shutdown. Now, they also go on here to say, at the moment, because the IP acquisition is in progress, it's been on hold because all the related assets and tools will be transferred to Krafton from Microsoft. But yes, we'll continue working on it for sure. Like I said, we won't really rush to the market to just deliver a sequel. We want to make sure that the sequel is actually at a quality level that surpasses the community expectation. So Hi-Fi Rush 2 is coming. That is phenomenal to hear. The fact that they're taking it seriously and not just trying to push something out to cash in on it is even better to hear. Now, there was some more information that Maria Park went over about everything about the acquisition. And I'll just quickly go down this list here by Genki Japan here on X, saying there was no upfront acquisition cost in regards to the team transfer as the studio was already shut down. So, I mean, that's great. The Hi-Fi Rush IP acquisition is still in discussions with Microsoft. And as she did mention, they're still going over everything that has to happen for it to be transferred, and it will get transferred. They say interested in Tango Gameworks for their collective team spirit and passion. There's 70 to 80 members that will join, and others already found new jobs after Tango was closed down. Tango wants to bring Hi-Fi Rush to more platforms. I mean, it's already come out on more platforms, which is not anything that would be new because it's already out on the PlayStation 5. Hi-Fi Rush 2 was already being worked on, and Tango had a 6-month old build of Hi-Fi Rush 2. So this thing is in development already. Ghostwire Tokyo and The Evil Within still belong to Microsoft, and that is another question. Will Microsoft, will Xbox develop these games? I think absolutely at least The Evil Within they should do, because that is a big horror IP that they have that they can build off of and just compete in that genre of like the Silent Hills, and you have the Resident Evils. But we're looking at something like Silent Hill we're looking at something like Silent Hill that is now exclusive to PlayStation for at least a period of time. Xbox can kind of counter that by having their own major horror IP. So The Evil Within, I really hope they take it and they pass it off to a developer that is willing and ready to make a great sequel to this franchise, because I think Xbox should definitely bring that one back. Now, they also say here Krafton will give Tango the environment they need to continue making fun and unique games. So all in all, the studio shutdown obviously was unfortunate. It seems like most people are landing on their feet from the studio shutdown. A lot of people are being transferred over to Krafton. Others have already found jobs in other studios. And Hi-Fi Rush 2 is going to be in development. So kind of all is working out here. And I hope that they do still develop the other IPs like The Evil Within. All right, let's jump over here. Let's talk about something that Xbox is doing that has been of major complaints on the PlayStation side with single player games. As you know, with multiplayer games, it does make more sense to have to actually sign in to your network account, like your Xbox or your PlayStation Network account. With all the cross-play, cross-save and everything, it just makes everything more seamless. And with Grounded, you currently need an Xbox account to be able to play it on Steam, and it looks like Microsoft is taking that away. They're getting rid of that, which I think is a good move here. I think for going forward, if you really want to appeal to PC gamers, you kind of have to do what the PC gamers want, and which is better for all gamers in general, which is not force them into signing up and making accounts. Maybe add some mods to everything that you do have when you are releasing games on Steam, and all of these different types of things that I think Xbox could definitely improve upon on the PC side of things. And they're taking a step here with Grounded. And this says Obsidian's Grounded no longer requires a Microsoft account for Steam multiplayer. For crossplay with other platforms and shared worlds, Microsoft accounts are still required. Again, as I mentioned, like crossplay, cross save, you still need those accounts just to have all the information synced up. I wonder if there was a way for they could do this without that. But they're not going to get away from that, because that is obviously a feature that making your Microsoft account, your Xbox account, that you have an advantage of if you do log in and play it via that. You have the crossplay with your other platforms that you can log in no matter where you are playing it. But if you don't want that stuff and you just want to play multiplayer on Steam, no longer will require a Microsoft account. Now, Starfield Shattered Space has released. I've jumped into it. I think I've played about an hour and a half or 2 hours, the first mission, and then a bit after that. And I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know if I'm going to love it by the time it's over because I haven't played enough of it yet, but the first mission and the opening and everything is definitely engaging. I want to get into it. I keep wanting to go back and play. It's really what I'm thinking about right now when I'm thinking about video games, so I can see what happens next. And that's always a good sign to me. So I'm hoping that it will meet my expectations by the time it's done, but it is doing decently well here on the Xbox charts. Now, it's a number 25 overall, which may not sound crazy and out of this world, but it is currently the most played single player only game on Xbox. So it is doing well. And of course, with Shattered Space, it is DLC that you have to purchase. This is not included in the Xbox Game Pass version. This is in the premium version, or if you got like that $30 upgrade to be able to check this out, you're going to be able to play it there. Now, there's another cool thing happening here for Baldur's Gate 3 on consoles. Mods are coming over to Xbox and the other consoles for the very first time. They put this update here for Baldur's Gate 3 saying there are currently 69 mods that have passed internal testing on console, and we'll be adding more as we go. Making mods available on platforms other than PC will be a continuously reviewed process that may change to include additional functionality in the future. Mods ready for both Mac and console that have passed testing will be released in batches, so keep an eye out on your in-game mod browser to see when new mods are added. So Baldur's Gate 3 is getting mods coming to Xbox. Cool stuff there. I always like to see when games get those PC features, the advantages of PC, like things like mods. When they come to console, that's always a big win. Now, gaming, the industry, I mean, it's almost like we've been talking about this on this channel and many other places I've been talking about this, that the industry has completely changed. And you're wondering why Xbox puts games on their platforms. It's because the industry has completely changed. The cost for developing games is much higher, and it makes it much more difficult for these companies to make a profit off of their games. And we have Epic CEO here, Tim Sweeney, weighing in on what has been happening here in the gaming industry and what is changing. It says the games industry is undergoing a generational change. A lot of games are released with high budgets and they are not selling. I mean, we can even just look at just this past week what we've heard about Ubisoft and Star Wars Outlaws. I'm sure that game had a massive budget, just even with the licensing of the Star Wars IP. That game must have had a huge budget, and it sold 1 million in the first month, which is just not going to cut it for the amount of money that they need to make to have a healthy return on their investment. But here is specifically what Tim Sweeney says. Talks about Fortnite, talks about the industry, and he says here that one of the manifestations we're seeing right now is that a lot of games are released with high budgets and they're not selling nearly as well as expected. Whereas other games are going incredibly strong. What we're seeing is a real trend where players are gravitating towards the really big games where they can play with more of their friends. Now, I guess that's basically him saying the Fortnite model, because that is a massive game, or more of those major free-to-play games that you can go ahead and play with your friends on that platform and everything. But he says the perceived value of the game, it grows in proportion to the number of your friends that you can connect to, which I kind of do agree with. I mean, you look at major games, they take off because you have a bunch of people playing it, talking about it, and all your friends are playing it and talking about it, which entices you to go ahead and download and play it as well. I mean, it's way easier to get into, especially like an open world MMO or a multiplayer game or just an online game. If you have a bunch of people in there playing with it, they're telling you just how good this game is. It gives you that FOMO. So you generally go ahead, download it and try it out for yourself. And sometimes you get hooked, sometimes you don't, sometimes you fall off, right? They say some people will call it a metaverse, and we're not all in agreement on what this means. Some people, when they hear the word metaverse, they think of what Facebook is doing with VR and now AR. Some people use the metaverse to describe everything they don't like about the current Fortnite season. It goes on and just talks about the engagement that comes with people playing together and all your friends jumping in and playing it. But I do agree with his whole sentiment here that this generation has been crazy, and we have seen what has happened with budgets getting blown out of proportion, not selling enough, leads to all the layoffs, closures, and just a downturn in the industry. Now, I don't think the industry is in a crash. So some people are, I think, hyperbolic when they do say that, but we will see what happens going forward. What does this mean? What changes will come in? And I'm thinking smaller games, more AA games that are easier to cash in on and get good returns on investment. Okay, just a couple more things here. Lords of the Fallen 2 is coming in 2026. Some new details have revealed this. This is according to the latest strategy report from CI Games, that they are developing this game in Unreal Engine 5 with an official reveal plan for 2025 with strong marketing, and then the release coming in 2026. And they do say these are internal goals, so this could change, but they also mentioned something here which I think is very stupid, especially if you're a publisher and you're looking around the industry and seeing companies like Ubisoft realizing that this is a bad idea, but they are making this game an Epic Store exclusive on PC. It's not going to be on Steam, which I think will absolutely hurt the release of Lords of the Fallen 2. We have this year Sharkmob London. They've canceled the game and they are laying off employees. So I guess just some more downfall in the entire industry. I'm not sure which one it is here that they have canceled, but it's an unknown amount of employees that have been laid off. And the move comes after they've canceled the game that they were working on. So just more people being let off. This is going to continue for the rest of this year. And again, the number at the end of this year is going to be insane of how many people have actually lost their job. And finally, this is pretty cool. If you play on PC, NVIDIA's all-in-one app will now replace GeForce Experience later this year, and there's going to be a bunch of features here that I think makes it a much better app. So they say here, NVIDIA's beta app for its GPUs is nearing its journey to full release, and they're going to be migrating all the remaining GeForce Experience users to this app. With the upcoming app, the updates to it, they will bring these remaining features of the NVIDIA control panel, such as surround options, custom resolutions, and multi-monitor setup to the app itself. And soon both the GeForce Experience app and the NVIDIA control panel will be replaced by the NVIDIA app when it first launches in February. You can see some of the stuff here that can be done that they're going to be adding into the app. So, for example, the overlays. I mean, I have an overlay when I'm playing on PC, and I like to see just kind of the statistics that are going on, but you can now change the statistics, font style, color, and more. So there's going to be more customization on exactly what you're going to be able to do. And then they added in actually yesterday some great features, including the ability to toggle G-Sync on and off, multi-monitor support for RTX HDR and driver rollback. And the app can also now notify if there is DRM content playing that could stop your shadow play recording. So lots of cool stuff here. I'm excited for this app to roll out and just see all the extra features and new features into the official app outside of the GeForce Experience, which was okay, GeForce Experience, but it was kind of cumbersome. So I'm happy that they're releasing just an easier and better app overall. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
We'll be right back.